Yes, they will be believers. They will be believers. Okay, any other questions? I just wanted to show you why I have said that I believe he is an Assyrian by race, and we didn't look at the King of the North passage, but I believe that he will come out of northern Iraq because that's the kingdom of the north, as repeatedly seen in Daniel.
So is this Assyrian, is that the end of the tribulation?
Yes,
Jesus comes back.
this conquest is, yes.
So in Thessalonians, I think it is, doesn't he say, when he calls us up to be with him, and so shall we ever be with the Lord? So when he comes back, we'll be with him. And we'll be with him at the time of this conquering of Assyria.
Yep. Have a front row seat.
Glorified bodies.
Yep.
We'll-
I've never read about the princes and the kingly men, but if Christ comes back, there's only 10% of the Jews left. Could these be Gentile people that raise up believers to fight with them? Or do you think they'll just be Jews?
I can't say for sure.
There's no clue on that.
No. I feel like it ought to be Jews because
Yeah.
it's the Assyrian against the Jews. He's going to deliver us, referring to the Jews. It seems like it would be a Jewish effort with their king.
Makes sense.
So there is substance for saying that this guy is an Assyrian who will come out of northern Iraq. And I don't know how important that is, but I do know that there's a lot of speculation about where he is going to come from. And all that speculation to me is so unnecessary. It's right here. What have you know what I'm talking about? Different writings of good Bible teachers, but they're trying to speculate where he might come from.
Heard on TV where they thought Putin might be the beast just waiting to rise. I've heard all kinds of things
Yeah.
speculate.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of speculation about he's going to come out of Rome, he's going to come out of the European Union, or he's going to, I don't understand what should I say, the neglect or the lack of focus on the Assyrian, because it seemed pretty clear to me.
Well, couldn't he be an Assyrian that was possibly raised in Rome or Russia or educated there, and because of his position in another country have risen to prominence?
Okay, I don't, in Daniel, what chapter is it? One of the chapters in Daniel talks about his rise to power, and he moves from the north. He moves from the north and comes down and moves through Israel and conquers Egypt, and then he goes back up. So he's got to have an army. When he rises to power, he's got an army. So he has to be somewhere where he's got an army that he uses to make an immediate conquest. Conquers those countries right there around Israel first. So for him to be imported from, Norway into there, he wouldn't have a following. So it seems like he arises from, but that's a whole other subject. Yeah, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. It just doesn't seem to be the scenario that we read when we read about his rise to power.
He's certainly going to be Western educated, but go back to that region.
Mm-hmm.
Have a lot of influence in
Yeah.
the West and ties to the West, but he obviously comes to prominence in that geographic location.
Because he's called King of the North, and because there were other kings of the North back in Daniel's day, I think he has to come out of northern Iraq to lead the people from what Daniel called the North. All right, one other term that's come up, I can't remember if it came up in this hour, is the term Antichrist. I think it did come up here. In fact, Keith brought it up, but he's not here today. Um, the popular teaching is well, you've heard it. When the term Antichrist is used, among good people that teach about prophecy, who do they often refer to when they use the term Antichrist?
The beast.
Yeah, the beast. And I used to teach that. The Antichrist is the man who's going to come and, say, I'm God. Until I was shown that that's probably not accurate terminology to refer to him as the Antichrist. The term Antichrist, do you know where we find the term Antichrist in the book of Revelation? Trick question. It's not there. The term Antichrist is not found in the book of Revelation. The term Antichrist is only found, do you know where?
First John.
1 John and 2 John. Who wrote 1 John? Trick question. Who wrote Revelation?
John.
Okay, so John wrote Revelation. John wrote 1 and 2 John. So if John intended to refer to somebody in Revelation as the Antichrist, would have been good to use that term there and let us know, but he didn't. He reserved the term Antichrist for his writings in First John. And well, let's turn to 1 John and look at where he uses this term. 1 John chapter 2. Verse 18. Little children, it's the last hour, and you have heard that the Antichrist is coming. Even now, many Antichrists have come, by which we know that it is the last hour. So you have the difference between the Antichrist and many Antichrists. So even though there are many, there's one. There's one in particular who's called the Antichrist. Verse 20. Let's skip to 4, chapter 4. We'll start at verse 1. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many, what do you have? False prophets have gone out into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that does not confess that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of whom? The Antichrist, which you have heard was coming and is now already in the world. So, what clues do we have here to tell us who the Antichrist is? Thank you. This is a discussion about false prophets. Verse 1. The last part of verse 1. Many false prophets have gone out into the world. False prophets. And those many false prophets are the spirit of whom? The Antichrist. So, the term Antichrist in John is related to false prophets. So, who would be the false prophet?
A future false prophet.
Yeah, the false prophet, because the beast is going to have a false prophet. We're out of time. I didn't get to look at those verses, but we can do that next week. But that's why I said it last week. I've said it a number of times, because oftentimes people say the Antichrist, they're referring to the beast. And I'm saying, no, I think the term Antichrist refers not to the beast, but to his false prophet, which we didn't read about yet. Let's pray.